I'm making an Afghan. It's a really easy one. I think a beginner could do it easily. So let me show you. Okay, so I am using the Hobby Lobby store brand. It's 355 yards. That's important, I'll tell you later. It calls for a 5.5mm hook. Since it's Afghan, I'm using one size bigger, a 6mm, just to make it a little fluffier, and honestly to make it work up a little bit quicker. So for this Afghan, you can make it any size you want to, as long as it's a multiple of 20 plus 1. So I've made mine 201 stitches, which I will show you how that one's coming in just a minute. So to start, you're just going to chain, however many you're going to do, a multiple of 20 plus 1. So I'm going to do 41 just to show you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I changed my mind. I just did 21. So I got my multiple plus 20, 21. So now what you're going to do is you have this one. Let's see if I can get this to work. You have this one you just came out of. You're going to skip that one and you're going to go in this next one. But we're going to do a double crochet. Okay, that's a little better. So you wrap it around from the back to the front, go through 1, 2, through 1, 2. And that is your double crochet. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10. So we have 10. Okay, so I had to start that over, and I did actually do the 41 stitches because I remembered why I was thinking that. And another thing is you do the 41 or the 20 plus 1, and then when you skip those two, you're actually going less than 1. So the blanket itself that I'm making, I did 201 stitches. So I actually have 199 across it each time now because I took back those 2. So I've done that, came back, and I've worked 10. You want to go back 10. When you get to that 10th stitch, you're going to make 2 more. So that 10th stitch has 3 in it. So now we're going to work our way back down. So 1, 2, 8. Now I'm going to stop at 8 on this one because you have your first peak, and now we're going to do our first valley. And when you're doing this, you want to think of it in sections of 10. So you have 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So for this one, we're going to do 8. And for this section, we're going to decrease 2. So we're going to take the 9th stitch for that section, the 10th stitch, and also the first stitch of the next section. The 9th for that section, the 10th for that section, and the first stitch for the next section. So we're going to pull that through. There we go. I just did my chain tight. It's not that tight every row. So then we've decreased 2. So we're going to increase 2, decrease 2. So I did just take the first for that section. So we're going to go, 1 is down here, this is 2, 3, 10, 10, 2, 10, 3. So then you would go down 1, 2. So you go down to 8, and then you're going to do 3 together again. The 9th, the 10th, and the 1st. So since it's the end of the row, what we're gonna do, when you do the 20 plus 1 and then you come back down, so like 199, or here I have 39 stitches. So you're gonna have your increase here every row, so you need to make sure you decrease here to compensate for it. So at the end of the row, you're just gonna stitch those last two together. There. Because every increase on each side of here needs to be balanced by a decrease to keep your stitches even. And this wants to curl down, that's just because my chain's tight. My chains are always tight. So as you go along, you can kind of see, and you won't have to count every single time. So when you come back the next row, here, let me show you how to do that. So we're to the end, right? We're gonna chain 1, 2, and then you're gonna turn. And remember, we're gonna have that increase here, so we still need to decrease here. So go around, do not go in this first stitch, go in this second one. So there's that. So now we're gonna go up to the peak. Okay, now you see how you have those 3 stitches there? You are going to work into that center one. That's gonna be your 10th, your peak. There. So you've got your 1, 2, 3 in the row below. That center one is where you're going to increase again. So there's 10, 10, 2, 10, 3. So we're going to work back down one more time. So that's 1, 8. So you can see also with that one, kind of sticks out and makes these little gaps on the side. So you're going to take that one's going to be your center, this right here, and then you're going to take both of them next to it. And I'm just going to work in the back loop of all 3 of those. And you will have this the front loop left, but it's alright, as long as you keep it the same every single time. Now remember, this was 9 and 10 and 1 for this section, so this is number 2. So when you get to the end, you're doing the same countdown 8, but you're just doing 9 and 10 from this section. There's no 1 because of that other section not being there. So we'll... Okay, so get to the end, stitch the last 2 together. Chain 1, chain 2, turn, skip that first, work in the second. Here we go. So now let me show you what that looks like on the full-size Afghan. So this is what I have done on this so far. Quite a bit. And as you can see, as you're going and you have more rows done, you can see like this is where the decrease goes. And this is where the increase goes. So it's not like you have to count every time, just for the first couple rows. I would suggest if you're doing something like I've got this pattern, make sure you're counting like maybe every time you add in a new color, you know, like right in here, and then when I switch to the blue is next, because I did it on this row. I think I was just counting out of habit and I realized my numbers were off, because what you might do is you might forget to increase twice. You might only stick 1 extra stitch in there and then you're going to be short 1, or you might put your decrease off center or something and throw your numbers off. So every once in a while, maybe like every 10, 20 rows, whatever you're comfortable with, just count through and make sure everything's even. So like you can see here, all of those little gaps, it makes it very obvious where the decrease goes. 1, 2, 3. And this is my 5th row of the white, so I'm going to get to the end and then show you where you want to change your yarn color with the double crochet. There we go. Okay, so I'm on my last stitch. I've got the last 2 there that I'm going to stitch together. So 1, 2, pull through, and I have that one more pull through, and that's where I'm going to change my color, because this one's going to lay down and be the top of the stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cut that off. Gray. So if you're changing colors at the end of the row, you want that last pull through to be your color change. Can you see that? That last time you pull it through? Chain 1, chain 2, turn, over, skip the first, go in the second. And then continue. I just have to do this one row of gray here, and then it will be time for the big section. So 1 row of gray and then 10 rows of white. Okay, so a couple things on this. With 199 total stitches across now after the original 2 went down, and the 355 yards, I can get 15. It was safely 15. I think I could get a little more than 16 rows across for this. So if you're going to do one, that might give you an idea how to work your colors in. Because I was thinking I might do another one like this, but I would factor in how many rows on each stripe so that I would only have to get like 1 skein of each color. So this would be really cool. Like this one's going to total have 3 colors with 2 stripes of each. So about, you guys know what I mean. I could get like 6 different colors and stagger them. I'd probably do more. Maybe I'd do like 10 colors. Anyway, I would figure out my color stripe pattern so that I would only have to get 1 skein of each color. So just keep in mind that that 1 skein is enough for 15 or 16 rows. And it's done. This is the biggest project I've ever made, but I think it's come out pretty good. A lot bigger than I intended for it, but that's fine. I do have all of the threads every time I change color. I have to weave those in, but I wanted to do this while the light was still nice. And that's going to take a while. I really like the pattern. I'd originally planned on doing another white stripe at the end here, but it got bigger than I thought. So I think it's fine there. Yeah, you can see how those are going to take a while. And that's it. And that's just the same repeat. Over and over and over and over